We're living in a world where there's a lot of political change happening in regards to travel, to taxation, to just freedom of movement, and the changes seem like they're happening on a daily basis, almost on the hour out there. And what I want to talk to you about this video is talking to you about getting a second passport. Maybe it's your third passport, whatever it might be. And the reason I'm talking about this is because, of course, in my last video, I'm in beautiful Montenegro here, and I was talking to an individual who is from Russia. And for those people that watch this channel and think that Russia's bad, you need to stop watching the mainstream news, because Russians are some of the nicest people out there. My wife was earlier swimming out in the ocean and met another Russian family, and they started talking and their kids played, and it's not like what you see on the TVs and what they are painted to be. But I digress. So we're talking to this Russian couple, and they were saying that Montenegro, because they are soon to be entering the EU, that Russians will be losing their visa-free travel in the near future. And this made me think, like, we in Serbia have a lot of Russians. It's one of the few countries that Russians can come to visa-free and that are accepted. And it's this very similar cultural mindset there as well. However, now that we know it's a season to be traveling, to go on vacation, they're going to be limited now to not being able to go to Montenegro because of these EU changes. And for countries that are entering the EU, obviously they have to follow those new rules and regulations, which is going to limit those individuals to where they can go. And so they're saying that they're interested in getting the Serbian passport. They've been in the country for 3 years, yada, yada, but they don't know if they're going to get it. And so that is their naturalization process. But I'm just want to do this video to talk to you about, because if you are afraid of all the political changes out there, not only for yourself, but for your children perhaps as well, it might be a good time to look at getting citizenship by descent if your parents or grandparents were part of Serbia at one point and born here, held citizenship, so on and so forth. You may not want to move here, but it'd be a really good strategic play to have for yourself, and then once you get it for yourself, to pass it down to your children. There's a lot of channels out there that talk about various passports around the world, and those are great, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you you need to get a passport from these other countries. I'm talking about getting what is rightfully yours. And a lot of these processes, you do not require to step foot into Serbia. A lot of the clients that we work with that have obtained Serbian citizenship by descent have got it by just simply giving us and our team power of attorney to act on their behalf. We send them all the documents that they need to get in their home country. They send it back here with that power of attorney. We're able to go all around Serbia to pull all the documents that we require to apply on their behalf here in Serbia. We're in communication with the Serbian officials here if they're asking for any extra information, and so on and so forth. Once the approval is done, then it's a simple decision. Do you come to Serbia to finish that off, or do we send you that document so you can finish it in a embassy or a consulate in your home country, and then you're done, and then you can move on to your children. Which is another thing I'd like to also clarify, is that if you're going down this route, you can only do it for yourself first before your children. If you apply all at once, you have a high chance of your children getting refused, because they're going on the basis of yourself as the parent of getting citizenship first, and we don't know who's going to see the paperwork first, or whose paperwork is going to be in front of the official first. If your child's paperwork goes in, in front of an official first before you get yours, you know, you're kind of SOL on that front. The other option is that you have the merit program, which I brought up to these Russians, and the issue is right now Russians are not able to apply for this merit program till further notice. Like, they were able to do this at the beginning of the year. Things have changed where now that's been slowed down. Some of our merit programs have been slowed down. They're, you know, some are still moving forward as normal, right? But the thing is, we do have, you know, votes this year for presidents. I guess it's called a presidential vote here to see what's going on with Alexander Vucic. I'm not going to get into any politics here or there, but that is another route that you can take that many individuals have taken that step towards. And that one also can be done in a lot shorter time than the naturalization process. The other one that many individuals have reached out to us on, that they're wanting to obtain their citizenship based on, is marriage to a Serbian spouse. So a wife married to a Serbian husband, a husband married to a Serbian wife, whatever it might be. The issue with that process is it still requires time in Serbia. So one of the individuals reached out to us and said, hey, listen, my husband and I have been married for 17 years and I would like to get Serbian passport. And then my question, of course, was, well, are you in Serbia? Do you plan on coming to Serbia? And their answer was no. The issue with this process is that you need to live in Serbia first under the temporary residency program for 3 years. Once you get into temporary residency, then you can apply for permanent residency. Once you apply for permanent residency, then you can apply for citizenship. Typically, it's done within 6 months after your permanent residency is done. Now, based on your application, how much you've toured outside of Serbia, all that type of stuff, those all come into play. So if you're interested in that route, you do actually have to come to Serbia. You have to live in Serbia for 3 years, and you still have to remain here for 183 days, no more than 10 months out of 3 years, all that good stuff, and then go into permanent residency and then apply for the citizenship. You do not have to wait in permanent residency for 3, 4, 5 years. Second you get permanent residency, you can apply for it, and most of the people we're seeing are getting it. That is the other route. The reason for that is that anybody can get married tomorrow to a Serbian citizen and then apply, and then they break up. They want to make sure that this marriage is not a sham, that they're not just using it to obtain passports. They are vigilant in who they're accepting and who they're approving for this process. But that is your other option, but it does take a lot longer. So to wrap up this video, your two quickest options are through descent, which typically from the time that we submit to the time that we get an approval is about 2 to 3 months. Then you have merit that can be, as little as 90 days up to a year. And then you have the marriage route, which is 3 years minimum, plus whatever it takes for you to get to your permanent residency and then apply for your citizenship process. I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you on the next one.